Hi everyone, today our group will present to you about risk management of Hilton Worldwide Holdings during COVID-19. And here are the 6 members of our group, which are Zheng Hao, Liu Yaodan, Wang Jiajun, Wang Jue, Yu Jingtong, and me, Zhao Mingqi. And let's get started. Next slide, please. Our presentation will be divided into 3 parts, which are 1, introduction and background of Hilton, 2, analysis of existing risk management measures of Hilton, 3, possible suggestions and recommendations. First, let me introduce to you the basics of Hilton. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Hilton Worldwide Holdings, formerly Hilton Hotels Corporation, was founded by Conrad Hilton in 1919. It is an American hospitality company that manages and operates around 66,400 hotels in over 119 countries and districts. However, under the pandemic of COVID-19, people have inevitably traveled less than before, which causes fewer customers for Hilton and more difficulties in all aspects of the financial status of the company. To overcome the challenges brought by COVID-19, it is crucial to first digest the risk into different dimensions, figure out what are the essential costs, and finally suggest Hilton how to make changes to them to recover its financial status. Next, my teammates will introduce our analysis of Hilton's risk management. Next slide, please.
Okay, and next, I'm going to talk about the first risk is the risk and risk management measures in human resource. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented unprecedented problems for the hospitality industry. While many hotels are facing working staff are infected with COVID-19, shortage of labor and affecting the normal operation of hotel, reduced profit with same salary, and the worst result is the hotel will shut down. So how to deal with this risk? Hilton have 3 ways to reduce risk: lose by layoffs, employee assistance fund, and pay cuts. Like many other hotels, Hilton had to implement the 30% layoff of employees across the globe due to the economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. The company narrates that laying off workers, especially those who had worked for the company, was a challenging task. Furthermore, it aimed to keep the process open and to offer assistance at all times. As the hotel dealt with the effects of the worldwide pandemic, it determined the need for layoffs based on operational capacity. In addition, Hilton made sure that all employees received their salaries. To assist the employees, Hilton rolled out an employee assistance fund during the tough year following the pandemic outbreak. The hotel placed a high value on helping all of its employees, whether those directly affected by COVID-19 were part of a staff reduction or were able to work through its crisis. Hilton supplied food and lodging for people returning home. Hilton also made online training materials available to all of its employees across the world, and it set up the team member assistance fund to help those employees and their families who had been affected by the virus. Moreover, with the Hilton Hotel seeing no immediate end to COVID-19 in the years following its onset, it had to implement significant pay cuts for many of its employees unable to take the losses. Hilton Hotels decided to implement salary cuts, including the top management. Overall, Hilton tried their best to reduce risk losses and keep employees' rights in human resources. Next, my group member Liu Yaodan will present.
Hi guys, this is Alden, and I'm going to talk about risk management in social responsibility for Hilton. Next, please. COVID-19 has affected multiple decreases in consumption and traveling business, which include housing and catering. However, even with this negative economy impacts from downward booking rates, Hilton still showed its social responsibility well under the pandemic. Hilton decided to start a program for donating up to 1 million free room nights with American Express for medical professionals who fight in the front lines of COVID-19. Hilton made sure that all those free rooms were available across 3,000 hotels and helped to tens of thousands of medical professionals to live clean and safe. Besides donating the free rooms, Hilton also started a program with Joe's Andrews World Central Kitchen to provide healthy and fresh meals for those medical professionals. At the same time as taking care of the medical professionals, Hilton also promote concerns into the community. The Hilton Effects Foundation awarded more than $1 million in COVID-19 community response efforts. The foundation grants a lot of programs for human needs to make sure more people can survive through this pandemic in the community. For example, it grants a program to build up some portable hand washing stations with clean waters and soap for people washing their hands to sterilize while they're out. Meanwhile, the recorded volunteer hours of Hilton's team members indicate the efforts to the local community by donating food, accommodations, and supplies. Overall, Hilton kept showing support through this pandemic. Next, my team member Wang Jue will talk about another risk management.
Thanks, Liu Dan. I will introduce the risks and risk management measures in operation. Next page, please. The first table shows the hotel operating statistics by region. The occupancy measures the utilization of hotels' available capacity. ADR measures the average room price attended by a hotel. And REVPAR is calculated by dividing hotel room revenue by the total number of room nights available to guests for a given period. As of the December 31, 2020, Hilton fully or partially suspended the operations of 1,245 managed and franchised properties due to the COVID-19. As of the December 31, 2020, or about 220 of these hotels have reopened. On the comparable basis, all of these three factors decreased. And the second table shows the decrease in occupancy in ADR resulted in a lower revenue for Hilton's comparable owned and leased properties. In general, the reopening of some Hilton hotels during the epidemic did not bring much income, but faced more operational risk and operational pressures. Thus, the Hilton management issue is how to reduce the operational risk of Hilton hotels in the post-epidemic era. Next page, please. There are some specific impacts and measures brought by the epidemic. During the epidemic, Hilton has taken steps to reduce operating costs by suspending operations in whole or part at some hotels. Hilton has implemented the new hygiene and cleanliness standards, such as taking actions to prioritize the safety and security of guests, employees, and owners. During the summer, Hilton launched a Hilton Clean Stay, a new standard of cleaning and sanitization for these properties around the world, and Hilton Event Ready, which focus on cleaning and customer service for meeting and events. Next page, please. According to the fishbowl diagram, the reasons for Hilton pressures to reopen some hotels under the epidemic are caused by the general environment and stakeholders. There are some important points of the impact of unfavorable general economic conditions, risk from travel, reduced customers' confidence, and reduced customers' demand due to the unfavorable political conditions, or reduced revenue Hilton can generate from the management and franchise fees. In addition, the competition for hotel guests and the provision of hotel service can affect the Hilton's ability to maintain or increase the fees that hotels charge guests. Hilton has a long relied on the third-party hotel owners and hotel franchisors to enter management and franchising contracts, as they account for the significant portions of Hilton's management and franchise fee revenue. So next part will come to my partner Wang Jiajun to introduce more.
Thank you. Now I'm going to introduce the product development part. Pandemic brings great uncertainty of economic environment and demand to the hotel industry. The reopening of hotel, restaurant, pool, meeting room, and other hotel public areas will totally depend on the local policy. And when this public area reopen, Hilton will need to do more to meet a higher standard of pandemic prevention and hygiene to ensure the safety of guests. So next page, please. What measures Hilton already done to manage these risks? The first one is the Hilton Honor app, which provides a contactless guest experience. By using this app, guests are able to book, to choose the room, and to check in totally bypassing the front desk. And the connected room enables guests to control the lighting, the HVAC, and entertainment options by just using the mobile phone. Actually, before the pandemic, Hilton already launched the app, but there is no doubt that the pandemic makes this contactless experience more popular. The second one is the digital key. When a guest uses the app, they can also request a digital key on their smartphone to access the hotel room, the fitness center, and the pool, and other hotel areas requiring a key. Well, next page, let's move to the third one. Hilton event-ready hybrid solutions. These solutions aim to meet the increased demand for online and hybrid meeting, because of the COVID, and provide a high-tech, safe meeting for consumers. A hospitality reporter at Skift, Cameron said, hybrid meetings may not bring the revenue of a fully in-person event, but Hilton's hybrid event strategy at least lays the groundwork for a much needed recovery in the hotel industry's collapsed group business sector. So actually what Hilton has done is very meaningful and helpful for the recovery of the whole hotel industry. Well, that's all about my part. Let's welcome my teammate Yu Jingtong to tell you more.
Okay, next let's move to the financial part. Firstly, we do the identify in the DISE model. I will list the possible financial risk factors triggered by the road caused COVID-19. Under the influence of the outbreak of epidemic, Hilton's financial condition may be affected by several aspects, including the negative financial condition of third-party property owners, developers, and joint ventures, because one of the business portions of Hilton is the management for third-party property. Increases in cost due to inflation, franchising or joint venture contract, delay in planned project, changes in general economic conditions, and less profit in the peak season, especially for the hospitality industry. Fluctuation or loss in value of real estate industry, uncertain risk of mortgage debit, volatility in the debit and capital market, fluctuation of exchange rate, especially for the international companies, increase in liability due to the postponement of originally planned acquisition and merger project, etc. So all these sub-risks may happen after the outbreak of COVID-19 and affect Hilton's normal operation. So after short reaction time, our company conduct a series of implements to try to reduce the risk loss to the tolerant level. Next, we move to the implement step of DISE model. Next page, please. So according to the annual report in 2020, after the outbreak, the necessary measures in the financial aspect mainly included removing the basic management fee of all directly management hotels and the operating fee of all directly franchised hotels by Hilton, fully draw down on our $1.75 billion revolving credit facility, suspending dividend payment and share repurchase, consummating the April 2020 pursuit of Hilton Honor points to American Express Company for $1 billion in cash, issuing $1 billion aggregate principal amount of senior notes in April 2020 and $1.9 billion in December 2020 to extend the debit maturities and reduce our cost of debit by repaying certain outstanding senior notes. Next page, please. So after conducting all these financial measures after the outbreak of COVID-19, part of financial performance of Hilton Company are as following. So as we can say that the ROA and EBITDA dropped sharply, but it is kind of normal situation happened in hospitality industry in 2020. So compared with other several hotel companies, although Hilton's performance is not that excellent as Marriott Group, but we already did a pretty good job in the average level of the hospitality industry. So the financial report is a evaluation of Hilton's risk management performance to some extent. So what should Hilton do next to better survive in the post-pandemic period? Let's move to the suggestion part by Jiang Mingqi.
Thanks for my teammates, and finally are our suggestions for Hilton. For next slide, please. For product development, in addition to serving travelers, Hilton can also capture the needs of local guests. Hilton can cooperate with some online food delivery platforms and develop the catering takeaway service. Besides, Hilton can also provide a high-end catering service, which is star chef coming to customers' houses to provide private banquet. Second, Hilton can launch some special room reservation. For example, due to the pandemic, many primary and secondary schools switched to online teaching, but their parents need to commute and the children will be at home alone. So hotel can provide a new service, which are rooms for children to have online classes with a tutor looking after them and serving meals. Third, Hilton can pay more attention on providing places for holding a conference or event, like celebration, wedding, and group activities. And next slide, please. Next are our suggestions for operation. First, since the cash flow in 2020 is a net loss, Hilton needs to ensure the smooth flow of funds for the company's operations. Hilton can properly use bank loans, government subsidies, or external recruitment to raise operation funds to ensure the hotel's normal operation expenses and employee wages. Second, under the background of post-pandemic era, hotels should pay more attention to the stability of income and the structure of passenger flow, and give full play of hotel functions, appropriately launch long-term rental and short-term rental services, and finally present hotel rooms in the form of apartments. And after taking the above suggestions, we expect Hilton to increase occupancy in Q2 2022 by 20% to 70.9%, ADR by 30% to $161.97, and revenue per available room by 35% to $99.33 based on the data of the second quarter of 2021. Next slide, please. And finally, our suggestions for Hilton's social responsibility. First is advanced booking system and customer services. With some complaints about non-refundable cancellation of the reservation due to the restriction of COVID-19, Hilton needs to work on the perfection of their booking system and customer services. Issue protocol a new room cancellation rule under the COVID-19. For example, any cancellation with public documents or official certifications should return a full fund or at least 80% of the total fees. Next is developing places for quarantine. Under the pandemic, Hilton can consider some hotels as a chargeable quarantine place to help local governments and communities to better practice the epidemic prevention plan. Finally is take what you want. Some buffets from Hilton hotels can consider changing take what you want to order what you want. The chef can cook the food right after the customers ordered it from the buffet menu. Customers can order multiple items the amount they are able to eat. In that case, it will help to reduce food waste since some of the ingredients are kept fresh in the refrigerator for many days before cooking it. Next slide. And this is the end of the presentation. Thank you for listening and have a good rest of the day.